Alright, hello everybody and welcome back. It is Jeff again coming to you from the Mindcrack server. The vanilla server, that is. And I'm sitting here drinking some coffee yet again. But this conversation won't be the same conversation as yesterday. However, coffee is always a very interesting conversation nonetheless. Because coffee is one of those things that, especially if you're working the night shift, everybody wants coffee in some way, shape, or form. But nobody is willing to, make coffee. It's really funny. Ever since Keurig's came around, the people feel like they can, oh, look, I can go make myself an individual serving of coffee, and that will suit my needs much, much better. However, what they neglect to realize is that everybody now making these individual servings of coffee, everybody really does want, some coffee, a big, nice pot of coffee as well. Well, that's Vex's block, isn't it? Vex, I think your block has to go. It's about time that the Vex block disappears. Even torched it and everything. We'll leave the torch there. Bye-bye, Vex block. Oh, this is an entire hole, isn't it? There you go. Had to make the edge look all good. But either way, coffee's something. So Keurig's and everybody I used to be one of the people who supplied coffee quite regularly to my units in the both the emergency department and in the ICU when I'm there. I'm one of those people who keeps a pretty good stock of coffee. There was 3 of us at one point that kept a good stock of coffee. Since then, one of the people has moved on to a different position, but there's still 2 of us around that keep a pretty good stock of coffee in the ICU. In the emergency department, we used to actually do a coffee club, and what we did for the coffee club was that just meant we all brought in coffees, and we had a locker specifically for us. We all knew the combination to it, and as long as you supplied it with coffee, you were allowed to have the combination to the locker, and you could get in and make any coffee that you wanted. And there was all these different flavors to choose from. I'm a standard old, Maxwell House, Folgers, Colombian, whatever it is. The chock full of nuts is good, but I don't need to even be that fancy and expensive. Whereas some people really like bringing in the really fancy, $10 for a half a pound thing, whereas I'm more like $6.99 for, the whole pound of coffee is exactly what I'm looking for. Not everybody has the same type of taste that I do, that's for sure. However, that's just my personal preference in the matter. But that being said, the ironic part of the whole thing is that people will constantly be making they'll be like, okay, I gotta go to the cafeteria and get some coffee, or I gotta, make my next coffee on the Keurig. And, I can tell people, I'll be like, hey, don't worry about it. I'm making a pot of coffee. And the nice people, I can't even say the nice people, but people, it just shows that they truly do have their preference for something. They're like, no, that's okay. I'm going to make, my Keurig, or I like the flavor of the little place down in the cafeteria. And that's another funny thing, too, is down in the cafeteria, there's not only the standard old Seattle's Best big tubs of coffee in the corner, which, by the way, are still Seattle's Best coffee, and Seattle's Best, Starbucks, all those fancy brands of coffee, they have... I'm not the biggest fan. I will drink it in a pinch when I have to, but I am not the biggest fan of their coffees because they're just so damn strong. It's like they purposely... That was not what I wanted. They purposely tried to make them so that people didn't want to drink them. It's just like a ridiculous, we are fancy, therefore we are super strong, and all other flavors in your mouth will be wiped out by our coffee. It's essentially what I think it is. I don't know why they make the drip so ridiculously strong, and it's to the... I don't know, it's like they're making a statement of some kind. I think here, I would like to kind of do in the center of this room. It's too wide. So can I do something like... Oh, I need to go get more iron bars. I just put a bunch of iron bars in my system as well to get them off my inventory. I didn't put them in here, did I? I did not. So they're somewhere flying down this system. I think they're over here. But, you know, oh, perfect. The fancy, you know, strong coffee is like what they claim that they're made for. I don't quite get it. But I did find that Caribou coffee has actually some really delicious coffee. I don't even know if there's a Caribou coffee around me anymore. There's only a handful of them in areas that I've been to, but Caribou coffee is actually, their drip coffee is actually extremely delicious. So I really like, how can I do this? Do I like that? I was trying to make this more like a central lampshade. Maybe it doesn't need to be prismarine. Maybe this can be the normal glowstone lamps like these guys. Well, so let's see. We know we're not going to need all those, but that's okay. I will find a way to make my own here. Redstone. But either way, when I'm, you know, making coffee at work, I sit there and I'll be like, no, I'll make a pot of coffee, like, because I'm gonna have some too. So I'd rather, you know, it not that it would go to waste, because throughout the night I will end up drinking most of it, and which is crazy to say, but it's absolutely true that I truly will drink the full pot of coffee throughout the entire night. The only thing that sucks about that is when it starts to get really old, like when it sits on the burner for a long time, it gets really, really bad because of the fact that it burns the coffee essentially, and that makes it taste crappy. It makes it super, 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 super strong as well, which gets like, oops, I hit the wrong button. I mean, like super strong to the point where you're like, oh, that is just too much coffee flavor for me. But I prefer, you know, to be, especially with people who I straight up am offering it to. It's really funny though, because you will constantly get people to say, no, that's okay, I don't want any coffee. Nobody is willing to make a pot of coffee because they feel that they just want to make an individual pot or an individual Keurig cups, because they don't want to, you know, be basically wasting their money on coffee that they're not going to drink. However, if I make a pot of coffee, I will tell you that I still need to race my ass in there after I start making it to ensure that it gets actually, that I can get a cup out of it, because despite everybody saying no, that they don't want it, everybody will eat it, drink it. Everybody will drink it. And I think that's crazy. I forgot that these things actually need to be lit up. You think this would look good from just regular glowstone? I don't know, I'm trying to get some different type of lamp in the center of this room. I don't even know if I necessarily like the fact that I have to do like a square like this. That actually doesn't look too bad. If I gave it like trap doors on the outside of it, but haven't we established that the trap doors don't actually stay on this thing? Or if I can give it a different color banner on the outside. I don't have any arrows on me, but I see you creeping over there, buddy. I see you creeping. I'm trying to break my whole system here. Doing this. I'm gonna keep an eye out for him. Those are slabs. I thought I saw the trap doors, but it was the slabs I saw probably. He should be able to make his way down here over to me. Making sure he can't do it from like above me. Okay, either way, I can try to make a couple trapdoors real quickly. But yeah, people will drink the coffee like it's nothing. They will tear through it without even, and it's funny because like you won't see anybody enter the room. The room will be empty. People are like, they're like coffee ninjas, I swear, because if you start a pot of coffee, somebody is going to get a hold of that pot of coffee. Oh, so these work, but these don't? I wonder why that is. Let me get this thing all covered with these guys. Yeah, they must take some class somewhere or something to learn how to be the coffee ninja. I mean, I would love to be a coffee ninja. It'd be pretty cool to have that skill set where you can just kind of sneak into a room and take over and get anything that you ever possibly wanted. Nobody even knows that you were there. But yeah, I constantly make pots of coffee. I'll go back out and start delivering patient care for like 5 minutes while the pot's brewing or whatever, and then I'll come back into the room and be like, "What the hell? 3/4 of this pot is gone already." I'll be like, "Oh, it's only." I'll walk in the door, just kind of take a peek at it, and be like, "Oh, only part of it so far has." That's weird. I guess it doesn't look any different, but I want it all to be oriented the same. There we go. And you can't put them on the bottom though. It looks okay. I can't say it looks perfect and pristine, but it definitely looks okay. I can leave it there. I'm going to take a nap though real quick. So yeah, coffee, it's one of those things that, you know, despite people saying, there's a lot of people who'll be like, "Oh, I don't even drink coffee. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't like the taste of coffee." But if you work the night shift, you can hear that from people specifically that you will then see drinking your coffee, and you'll be like, "I just asked if you wanted any, and you said no because you don't even drink coffee. You don't like the taste." And their response is, "Well, yeah, but I got really tired, so I figured I should try something." Like it's inevitable. It happens every time. People just, I don't know what it is. If it's laziness or what, that they just don't want to make their own. I can understand if they don't have their own coffee with them and they're just waiting for somebody else. A lot of people who know I have coffee too, but there are also people who usually supply coffee as well. They'll ask me all the time, be like, "Jeff, do you have any coffee today? Because I don't have any. I ran out." And I'll be like, "Yeah, of course. Like, I'll get it stocked up because I know you do the same for me." And sometimes you have people who just, so we used to get supplied with sugar from the emergency department. They would actually supply us with sugar. It came out of our budget, but they ordered it and specifically made sure we had like sugar and cream and things like that. And at one point, they actually supplied us with coffee, but for some reason they stopped doing that because they determined that got too expensive. Even though there's 50 to 60 of us working at a time, and we would go through, because I used to be actually in charge of the coffee there. I had a key to the coffee closet, and I was in charge of making sure it was all like restocked and stuff. That's snow. That it was restocked when the new shipment came in, and getting everything put together like that. And we would go through like 6 things of coffee in like a 2-week span, which might seem like a lot, but when you're dealing with that many people, it's really not that much. And also they decided that was just, too expensive to be coming out of our budget, so they got rid of that, and you have to like supply your own coffee now, which, like I said, I think is kind of crazy, because I think coffee is one of those very simple commodities that you should be able to have, and it makes your staff extremely happy. It's a very simple thing to increase patient or customer satisfaction, essentially, and I would love if it was just coffee was one of those things. I remember when I worked at McDonald's, I think I've talked about this before, and our manager used to get pissed off at us if he ever had a complaint about old coffee, because sometimes, the coffee's only supposed to last like an hour in one of those pots at a restaurant. It lasts for an hour, and I think actually at McDonald's it's only 10 minutes. Like, they have even stricter standards on their coffee. And some people would, "Oh, well, we haven't sold much coffee today, so I don't want to waste the coffee, so I'm not going to throw this pot away and make a new pot of coffee. I will just either throw this pot away and have somebody else, and have somebody, when they actually order coffee, they'll have to wait for me to brew a pot, or I will just serve them this old coffee because I really don't care." Like, that was some people's mentalities. Like, they honestly didn't think that there was a problem with it. I remember somebody used to fill up, like, if they ran out of regular coffee, they would fill up the rest with decaf. Or if they ran out of decaf coffee, they'd, fill up what they could with decaf and then the rest with regular. And I'm like, you can't do that to people. Especially people who specifically are ordering decaffeinated coffee. You can't put any regular coffee in there because they might not be doing it because they don't want that much caffeine, or it's because they don't want the taste. But they very well could be doing it because they have a problem with caffeine and the way that caffeine affects them. You can't, that's red. You can't, go through and expect them to, be okay with having the coffee like that. Blue banner with a cyan base. Unfortunately, I don't have any cyan wool to make this banner out of. Can I make... I think you have to have the same base color in order to combine banners, right? Yeah, you have to have the same base color to to incorporate these together. So I need to work on getting some cyan sheep as well before I can actually finish this room. So that doesn't look bad. I'm not 100% on board with exactly how it looks yet, but it does not look bad. I do like having a centralized chandelier. I will like this a lot better when I get these bays. Oh, you know what I should do? Put signs on all of these for different bays. Like bay 1, bay 2, bay 3. That is something that I need to do. Oh, you know what? Yeah, that is definitely going to be in part of the future plan. Let me get at least 1 or 2 signs made right now, so I don't forget, because I will actually forget to go do that. But anyways, yeah, that's my story about coffee. I love coffee. Coffee's delicious. It's probably extremely unhealthy for you. I can't say probably, like, if you drink as much of it as I do, it is. I know coffee actually, there was a study that came out, I remember, when I was working for, are you serious? Did I forget one completely? I did. When I was working for Ford, I remember reading a news article, and I thought it was the funniest thing in the world, because it was a news article saying that coffee... What exactly did it say? It said it said something about beer, and drinking like the equivalent of 32 beers a day was actually healthy in the way that it helped you. What size do I want these signs on? That it actually helped you fight off Alzheimer's or something like that. And I was like, that is hilarious, because like 32 beers a day is like, it's ridiculously unhealthy on so many other levels. However, they found this good reason. It's, it destroys your liver, essentially, is what, a lot of alcohol will do to you. So all of a sudden you have, I need a good idea for these signs, but all of a sudden you have like this excess amount of coffee or of beer, and you can fight off Alzheimer's, but your liver is going to be destroyed. And then I remember a couple days later, I also thought it was hilarious, because they had come out with this story that what was it exactly? It was something to the effect of there was so much coffee that you could drink. It was like 8 or 10 cups of coffee. If you drank that many cups of coffee, no, maybe it was like, I think it was like 10 cups of coffee a day. If you had like 10 cups of coffee a day, that it was actually help your liver. And I was like, man, if I can combine these two things together, I can just drink 32 beers followed by 10 cups of coffee, and therefore I will live forever, because that is just what these articles told me like I can do. I will not have Alzheimer's and my liver will be fine. Like, that would be ideal perfection. Obviously, I don't think it would quite be ideal perfection, but you never know. I think what I want to work on next, and I don't think I'm going to do it in this episode, but I want to move this guy. I wish I could move it up, but I don't think I have the ability to move it up. I think it needs to stay on this level. And I need to move it back so then I can put a chest coming out, and it'll probably have to sit in the floor, but the chest will probably sit like this, I would guess. Or it might actually have to sit back one and sit out there, but there's going to be a hopper going into the chest, which is my full potions will have to go into this chest on the floor, because unfortunately just the height thing, I think that's what I'm going to have to do with this whole thing. But then I can make it so it's more of an automated potion system, and the way that, granted, you're not going to be able to grab from here, but it's going to dump them all out of here. Oh, I forgot when I do that. I need to create the whole timer system. So I can't do that yet, because I need to create that whole entire timer system on how to, turn it on and turn it off and all that stuff. But that is plans for the future. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next episode.